Hello, everybody. Welcome to Elevating Your Life. We're going to have just a fantastic time today. I have been counting the days for this interview. We have with us today Ofer Niv, and he is a transformational healer, mentor, and guide who specializes in shamanic energy work that addresses the physical, emotional, and spiritual layers of being. With over a decade of experience, Ofer blends ancient wisdom, the mysticism of the Kabbalah, and shamanic practices, helping clients resolve deep-seated issues and transform their lives at the core. He studied computer science at UCLA and then worked for more than 20 years as a senior manager in IT at Wells Fargo. He began to explore alternative healing modalities after having been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2011. As he saw his symptoms dissipating, he began to study energy healing with several masters. He then overcame his MS and now uses his personal experience and extensive training to guide others through profound healing. And through his practice, Alchemical Flame, Ofer helps clients navigate 5 realms: heart, shadow, magical, divine, and unseen, to unlock their innate healing potential. Oh, so wonderful to meet you, Ofer. Welcome.
So cool to be with you. Really
I
nice.
am so excited. Well, would you like to share a little more of your background and kind of, what pushed you to, what you're doing now?
Yeah. Um, I grew up in Israel on a farm essentially, and there was a time when I served in the military. Very, I'd say, unfortunately, normal uh, life life direction in Israel. At some point, my wife and I moved to the US, and she studied at UCLA and I studied at UCLA uh, to get my expertise going in computer science. I joined IT in several banks, but I ended up working for almost 40 years in IT, information technology, starting as a programmer, as a developer, into senior leadership, and then I was diagnosed with MS. What happened was there was a period of time with a lot of pressure. I mean, the pressure was always on at this kind of work, always not much sleep. But there was a period of time when I was not sleeping more than 2 hours a night, probably for a month. And I was actually happy about it because I felt I was achieving a lot. And what happened is I started feeling tingling in my fingers, and then in my toes. And then it started to get even more weird. And I got essentially diagnosed with MS, with multiple sclerosis, which is a nervous system degeneration kind of thing, a self-immune issue. And I was told, I mean, I was really freaked out about it, and I was told that this is something that is not going to heal. All you can do is manage it, and it's probably also a shorter lifespan. And there are all kind of scary things that come with these diagnoses. And I felt a lot of not resistant to the diagnosis, because I certainly believed the diagnosis, but resistance to the condition, resistance to the fact that there's nothing I can do about it. And so I started to introduce myself to spiritual concept, thoughts, experiences. I joined, for example, a full year of a program that was called Flight School, and it's about flying your soul, not airplanes. And visited sacred places all over the world, in Ireland and in the US and in Canada. And um, in the end of this, I started to actually feel better because we really worked on relaxing the body, relaxing the mind, freeing the mind. But there was a shaman, that woman that came for a visit in one of these get-togethers, and she told me immediately that she saw something like an energetic pattern in front of my body that was a part of me. And she asked, "Would you like it back in your body?" And I said, "Yes, I'm sure. I don't want to be split." And so she put me there on a table. There were 15 of us and 15 people around me, and everybody's doing something with their hands with her guidance. And just not to go into the details, there was soul exchanges, and there was all sorts of navigation in different realms. And in the end, I just remember going back home on the flight, having these shivers run up and down my spine of excitement, of uh like something that I never felt before, so good, that happened to me. And so that was 2011 when I was diagnosed. Then I had this experience in, I think, 2015. And I said, I have to learn. I have to learn this. I have to learn it. I have to. It's almost like it's enough about myself. I want to be able to help others to experience what I experienced in 2020. Since 2020, I am no longer on medication. Last year, my doctor said, no longer no longer needing to get this annual MRI. There is just, you're just done. We're complete with MS. And so it didn't take one day. It was a journey, but it was a beautiful journey. And I feel I was pushed into it because there were signs. My body was telling me, slow down, slow down. I didn't listen. Eventually, I have to slow down, and apparently, I needed to slow down to receive some wisdom, to receive another way. And I just got in love with the whole process. And so I trained to be an energy healer myself with this woman that saw me in the beginning. And since then, it was a wild and fun ride of becoming an energy healer. And I've, been practicing now for quite some years, and love it.
I love it. Myself being a Reiki energy healer for 25 years and uh, having trained with a couple different shaman instructors and what that was like. I mean, it's life-changing, isn't it? It's just life-changing.
It is utterly life changing. I mean, you literally don't look at anything anymore because you understand that beyond what you see with your two eyes and what you can feel, there is so much. There's so much. I mean, I call it other worlds, but maybe scientists will call it something else. But there is so much. Actually, it's interesting that scientists actually do call it. There are these quantum theories about quantum physics, multiple universes, right? And this is exactly what I do. Like, I'm giving a class now about the five realms that you mentioned, and there is one that I call the magical. You can call it the scientific because it is traveling within multiple universes or multiple worlds. I call it the inner worlds because it is the sequence of creation. First there are the inner worlds that they don't include the density of this body, but through them the body manifests in the reality that we get with our five or six senses. And so, yeah, it's a beautiful, different way to see everything when you know that there's so much. I have a bi-weekly program that is free, by the way, where I invite anybody to have a Zoom session with me and experience 30 minutes group journey. I call them journeys because we literally go to different worlds. I mean, that's what it is. We go sometimes into what's called the library, where it's a library that is e- 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 all knowledge of humanity and beyond, all knowledge that is out there, and you meet the librarian and you get a book. I actually have done something about this in the beginning of the year because I wanted everybody to get a little bit of like their own book about 2025.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. I
we go to visit gardens, places that look like gardens or like different landscapes that represent the body, and this way you heal the body by attending to the landscape. And so there are all sorts of fun things that we do in this
love
healing.
it.
And
Oh, I am gonna jump on that. I can't wait. I can't wait. And that is so awesome. Myself, I've referred to putting things in our mind's library, where it's at. And it actually, I mean, I've read that shamanism's our oldest medicine. There is, there's proof of the healing and what's created and what has been done through that type of medicine. It's amazing. It really is.
it's interesting what you just mentioned about uh, that what you said, the mind library, when where you store. So part of I think the history, and it's not just shamanism, but it's like mystery schools in general. We're using constructs, and I think it was in the Renaissance area, something that is called locus, where you have a building, an imaginary building, and you can put stuff in this building. So you store stuff in this building in different rooms, and then it stays for you for the rest of your life. I mean, these things like you didn't know exactly what you put there. You just go in the room and you see actually the stuff that you put in there, and you can get reintroduced to the stuff. I mean, it's known that Nikola Tesla, the scientist, was imagining, and I'm using the word imagination because many people think that's phantom, but here it's how it is not. I mean, he would imagine very complex machines because he was an inventor and inventing all the time, and he would then once he built a machine in his imagination, he would let it run, and then if something got broken, he would let it run for like a week, okay? And then he comes back in his imagination, the machine is still whatever, and then he checks on it, and oh, something happened, something is broken. And then when he did the real tests on it with, like 3D stuff, that's exactly what happened. So, I mean, he was obviously very, very capable, but the imagination is just a proof or a really an example for how the imagination, while it can mislead us if we fantasize, it can also lead us to some places that are quite
Wow.
objective. They are real.
Fascinating. So fascinating. And something that you talk about is the heart realm. Please share with us what that is and what we do with that and do we
Yeah.
heal that?
Yeah. Uh, the reason I created these 5 realms is because I was doing the work for several years, and then I was like, what is it exactly that I do when I work with people? Because I never kind of put it down in a defined way. And so that helped me that I divided it into realms, and one of them is the heart realm. So what's happening in the heart is there is trauma, there is limiting beliefs, or there are also good beliefs, but I'm focusing when I'm healing somebody to remove any energetic blocks to happiness, to fulfillment, to feeling free, because because people that come to me usually feel stuck. They feel stuck. Maybe it's energetically, maybe there is no energy, like no physical energy, and maybe it's some kind of other sickness, and maybe it's feeling stuck, like I can't, even though I know what I want, I can't seem to manifest it. I can't move forward. And it is good to go into the heart. Yeah, and I even take people into a dimension in the physical heart that I call the sacred space of the heart. This is a concept that it comes from somebody called Tranvalo Melchizedek in Sedona, which I see a picture on your wall from Sedona, uh, right?
My favorite place.
Yeah, and and so what I do, I help people go into that sacred space of the heart. So we have a journey. Because we usually like to spend time in our head, but science actually shows that whatever thought we have in our head manifested electromagnetically in the heart a fraction of a second before it was registered electromagnetically in the head. And so we go to the core, we go to where things start, and the idea is that it is really nice to quote unquote think through the heart. Whatever it is that you want to manifest or you want to heal, you picture it in the heart, and the heart creates then sort of a plan, a healing plan or a manifestation plan, and then the head becomes the partner in creating in executing the solution, because the head really knows the how to do whatever, and the heart is just good at immediately connect and see, like, to the roots, to the core of the issue. And so in the heart, we also discover limiting beliefs, because everybody has them. And, it could be, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, I'm bad. There is a very deep one. It's like the core wound of humanity is feeling separated, feeling feeling alone, feeling separated. And it could be separated from creation, or separated from knowing that you are more than just this body, or and in the at the bottom of it is, I'm not loved because how am I loved if I feel separated? And so we're working on clarity, on receiving clarity on what's going on, and then healing with all sorts of techniques. I call it the alchemical flame. So we do work with the flame that I believe that everybody has, even when we don't remember it, like right here. And sometimes it's just a spark. Well, when you focus on it, it can grow and it becomes a flame.
Ah,
And that flame is key, because it's connecting you to what's larger than you. It's like connecting you to what I call your divine truth. And when you're starting aligning this way, things starts to balance and things starts to align in ways that actually help you to be healthy and to feel well. And when we're not aligned, is because we don't work with this flame, but we work rather than with, maybe with the little ego that says, I want this. We're great manifestors. So we can manifest whatever we want, even if it's not good for us, because we can always make a choice. And what I show people is how to align with the divine nature of them, whatever that is, so that whenever they create something for themselves, it's going to be a creation rather than just something that is real but not very good for them.
yes. Would you say that when you align with that divine nature, that you you open up so many doors and so many connections, so much positivity and healing?
Yes. And you don't have to know exactly how it's going to work, which is a big thing, because we think we need to know everything, and we take on ourselves too much in terms of, it's something, it's probably cultural especially in the West, but we're just brought up in, it's on us. We need to know all the steps to a solution. We need to have a project plan and then execute it if we want to get where we want to go. And what we learned, that when you work with the heart is giving you the next step, and you can know you know, your, say, your heart desire, you can know what from A to Z, where Z is, but you don't need to know all the intermediary steps, because the heart will show you, and sometimes you'll veer a little right and sometimes a little left, but the heart will show you how to get to where you want without you needing to have all these things. But it requires paying attention. It requires paying attention to signs, signals, to your inner voice. Is, you know, we don't grow up necessarily, at least I didn't, with like believe your inner voice. Like if you hear your voice, your an inner voice that is saying this is what you should do. I was just ignoring it. I was ignoring it. I was not taking it seriously at all, and it took me many years to discover. Oh, this is what this voice is. This is what's going on. It's your inner voice that actually knows what it talks about, because it's coming from the heart. It's coming from your divine guidance. And so that's part of what we're doing, is discovering how to learn again to listen ourselves. This is really empowering when you learn that you have a lot of solutions that come from inside. You don't have to
Love it.
depend on
Yes.
someone else for everything.
Would you say that allowing and trusting can make a difference in what can happen and what you can see, and kind of letting go of the I want to control it mode?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it. There are different. There's probably a synthesis of things that happen. So it's not like we just sit back and, you know, watch life happening. Uh, but what we learn is that in order for us to really have a knowing of what's good for us, we have to sit back and relax. It's like surrender the need to know what it is, what is my solution? Because I have a need. Everybody has a need, but it doesn't mean that I know the best solution. And what happens when we surrender like that and we say, okay, just tell me, there will be a solution that'll come up if we listen, and the solution will probably be aligned with our divine nature, rather than what our little self is saying. I want this, but, you know, the attachments to whatever it is that we decided we want, or the way that we see the solution for us. I think some of the problem is that we don't really know what we need. We think we know what we need, and we think we know what the solution is. And so, for example, you know, I might say that I'm always angry because this person did this to me. And we bring ourselves into a victimhood state, essentially. And maybe the need there was to just relax and discover that there is a reason for the emotion that came up. Maybe what I felt was really hurt, and there was a trauma there that can be undone, but it's not the trigger that came from what just happened to me today, but there is something else that I'm led to really see. And maybe there is a need, and the real need is always love. It's always about love.
Oh,
So
I love it.
the
Oh,
love or the lack of that we experienced as children is now is creating most of what becomes a need, and we just mislabel it many times if we don't do
yeah.
that thing that you said, relax and just see what happens when you say, I don't need to know everything. I surrender this need to always be right, always know, always have the solution, always be the one that make things happen.
I love it. I love it. So would you say when we give that surrender and let that go, Are we going to connect further to our true selves? Is that going to open that connection?
It is a key. In fact, uh, you're tapping intuitively, I think, exactly into what I'm going to teach this coming week, because
Love it.
the way I see it, there is a one of the realms that I teach is called, it's a Hebrew word, da'ath. It's a Kabbalistic word from the tree of life, and what it means is knowing or knowledge, and and it's like a bridge between our physical reality and the divine. And in order to be able to cross that bridge, you can imagine that that bridge has guardians on it. And in order to cross that bridge, you have to release a few things. You have to release a few beliefs that you have. And when you do, so when you surrender your needs to know exactly what solution you have and even what is the nature of the problem that you have, when you release that, and when you accept that there is such a thing as divine love, it's a frequency. Because everything is energy, when you accept that there is such thing, divine love, then suddenly it's like the gate to cross the bridge opens, and you end up in a place where there is no duality. I mean, you're not ignorant. You still see everything, but you see everything in a very different way. It's a very different perspective, because it is like putting on the glasses of the divine and saying, how do I look like when the divine see me through the divine glasses? And it's not what I see when I look in the mirror. It's much nicer. It's much better. It's reassuring.
Oh, Ofer, you are so awesome. Your wisdom is just, oh, this is beautiful. We have about 1 minute left. Please share your website with everyone and what you would like to finish the show with today, please.
My website is www.alchemicalflame, one word, alchemicalflame.com. And you'll find there my class and one-on-one sessions and bi-weekly free meetings. And what I would say is, when you get through this process that we just talked about, then you know that you are whole, you're not broken, and therefore you are not in dire need of fixing. You don't need to be fixed. You're whole. You can ask for healing. Sometimes you'll receive the healing before you even ask.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. This has been so fantastic. I am just thrilled and honored. Oh my gosh. We may have to do another show down the road to talk about more
Love it.
fantastic stuff. Everyone out there, thank you for joining us. Love, hugs, and blessings. Ofer, love, hugs, and blessings. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Paul. I loved being with you.